Hey everybody, happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Lindsay coming at you. I said lunchtime and it's 1:22. I don't know. What can I tell you? It's after my lunch. I definitely was feeling it today. I did the workout from yesterday, the leg day. I did what is it called? A bike boot camp on the Peloton app. If y'all have Peloton app, do the bike boot camps with Jess Sims. She's the best at them. I wouldn't take anybody else's. They're just kind of a cakewalk. Just kidding. I definitely call out the instructors that just aren't pushing me on there. But anyway, being an instructor, that is what it is. If you're catching the live, you guys can tell me live in the comments. I'm making this video as kind of your own personal growth video today. I'll share my story, encourage you to share your stories. That's the whole goal of this, is just to kind of, get vulnerable, talk to people in smaller groups, and then it expands to the bigger market and the bigger group. And a lot of people on Facebook don't know a lot about my story because I build a business on there. So I definitely believe in sharing a story as it relates to my business and my life and being a mom and being a wife and being somebody who pretty much is a hot mess. Do you guys want to see my kitchen? Like, this is what you see right now, but Jordan and I this is very good for 4. She made a birthday cake for her Aunt Stacia for her birthday this week, and I am homeschooling. My kids have been home a week from Friday from a close contact with somebody who had COVID. The guy's fine. Everybody's fine. That's a whole other story. I'm not going to go into it, but they go back to school on the 20th. They're having a picnic outside right now. And this is definitely, you got to flip it. Yeah. Oh yeah, I flipped it. This is my kitchen right now. So this is like our workstation, like there. I mean, really. And then this is my kitchen. Like literally, there's my protein up there from Karen, but I definitely, this is it. Like, this is what I live in, like, every day. When my husband comes home, he does a lot of the dishes and stuff for me. He does a lot of the housework. We have one of those, like, little vacuum things that cleans our floor. But my life's committed to helping people, and it's not committed to being a housewife. Made that very clear the day I married my husband 10 years ago. But for many of you guys that don't know, so just taking you to the present all the way back. Today, I am a mom of 2. My son is 8. My daughter is 4. Landon is a boy and Jordan is the girl. She's my baby. I had 3 miscarriages in between my children, so I did suffer that loss. I can relate to lots of women on that. However, it's a different story for everybody. But I just definitely, as somebody today, I value life. I value the pro-life movement. I'm very into that. I'm very into believing that, God has a big picture for all of us, and every generation that he puts people into are fully equipped to handle any challenge in that generation. And I truly believe that. And the way where I was in my life in between my 2 kids was probably a great learning period for me to handle that loss and to become closer to God. And it's been just such a blessing. My husband, Matt, and I have been dating like 15 years. We dated 5 years before we got married. May 7th, 2011. But my story really of my own transformation, which I wanted to share with you guys today, it started back, I would say the pivotal points of my journey that shaped me the most today had to have been after my 12 years of private school. So I went to private school for 8 years, learned so much. That's a whole other topic in itself. Being a Catholic schoolgirl, private school, all girl high school. So there was no boys around. I didn't even have a boyfriend until I was a junior in high school. I didn't even wear makeup till I went to a dance and my mom forced me to wear eyeshadow. Believe it or not. Could you believe that? I don't know. We shaved our legs like once every 2 weeks at Marion. Very gross. Whatever. My whole life was sports, though, growing up. I was very good. So was my brother. He went on to play football for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. He was the long snapper. My sister-in-law, Danny, coaches at the University of Louisville. She's the head volleyball coach. My dad was an athlete. My mom was into sports. cheerleading, if you call that a sport, but guess what? Back then, it was a pretty big deal as well. And then she played sports, but sports were my life. I played volleyball all year round. And when I graduated from high school at Marion, I had a decision to make going into college, whether I would go accept one of those scholarships and leave my family. And I wanted to stay close. I wanted to stay nearby. Some sort of security there. I mean, I've been spoiled my whole life. I want to live around my mom and dad. So I went to a school, the University of Nebraska in Omaha. They offered me to walk on there and eventually get a scholarship. And I just chose to end my volleyball career. We ended with a state championship my senior year, which was remarkable. I still get goose pimples every time I see the state tournament here in volleyball. But it was definitely a part of my life that really identified who I was. And it brought so much happiness, and it brought so much of, this is Lindsay. She's an athlete. She competes. She loves to win, this and that. And it was so much of who I was. And it was almost too much of what I was, because once volleyball was taken away from my life, or I chose to end that chapter and go into coaching, my whole life really started to change, and I had to make adjustments. And at that point, at 18, I wasn't ready to make those adjustments. So I started doing what everybody, I thought wanted me to do, right? I wasn't listening to who I was anymore. I was more, responding to how people wanted me to be. And that's not the best place to be when you head into college. I know a lot of students and girls that I work with today and mentor have that problem area transitioning from high school to college. If you can relate to this, type in "I can relate" in the comments. Very, very challenging for me. And I decided to not only pursue, an education career and go in to be a teacher, but I also decided to dive into just overwhelmingly, exercise. It wasn't just going to the gym for an hour. I now became obsessed. And the only time I studied was when I was at the gym. I was at school learning. When I left school, I went to the gym and I studied. I wrote my notes down multiple times. I highlighted things. I actually started loving education, but I became so obsessed with the exercise and the euphoria that it gave me and the control in my life. It was the one thing out of all the relationships, the craziness in the world that I could control. So it became, a habit, a good habit that turned into an unhealthy habit, because all these other behaviors started following the over-exercising. And it was 2, 3, maybe 4 hours a day. I started to become very thin. I started losing my muscle because I wasn't doing strength training at all. I mean, it was just straight up stair climber, sweating my butt off. I started, getting into supplements, and I learned about fat burners and ephedra and how I can keep my energy high, eat very little, and continue to produce, not only in the school, with my education and with my grades, which were straight A's all the way through, graduated at the top of my class. But it was a control factor, and it was very unhealthy. I was taking so many supplements in college that my heart revved so much. I almost had to go see a doctor because it was pumping so fast. I mean, you guys, I have high energy right now. Picture this energy with healthy things in my body times 10 with horrible things. They even pulled that from the shelf, the product I was taking. And I still remember going to bed and my heart was racing, so I started taking NyQuil every night. I took NyQuil every night from college all the way up about 10 years later to the point where I had my son. Okay, I got pregnant at 29. Imagine taking NyQuil every night. It became an addiction for me. So now I had an exercise addiction, a fat burning addiction to products. I also had an addiction to supplements before bed, like NyQuil and stuff. I started fearing different foods, okay? So now the eating part comes in. Picture somebody who's already frail thin, exercising all day, going to school, zero social life, and now she has to fuel her body. It was a hot mess. I really had a very small food group. I had popcorn every day. I had Diet Coke. I had carrots. I also ate about 20 to 30 packets of Splenda on top of noodles, on top of oatmeal, whatever I could flavor without the sugar, right? No fats in my diet. It was basically like an unhealthy carb diet without any fat, and I was super scared of sugar. Like something totally opposite of what I am today, because I get natural sugars, right? I eat fats. I don't eat a lot of carbohydrates. And I was just so into that. But then when that got old, I started realizing I had a friend from college. He was actually one of my best guy friends. I went out to Truman State to visit him. He was a football player, and he was very into the way he looked. Like, that's why we were like best friends, because we just were obsessed with looking good, right? We wanted to look good. We wanted to walk around the bars hot. And we're just like, look at me, look at me, look at me. Nobody knew how broken we were inside, or how unhealthy we were, or how low our self-esteem was. And one night we went out for pizza, and he's like, oh my God, I feel sick. And I'm like, so do I. And he's like, I know how to get rid of the food, Lindsay. And I said, how do you do that? And he said, you just eat a whole bunch of ice cream and then you throw up. So thus began my journey of bulimia for 10 years. So I started dabbling with it, like I went to, social dinners with some friends, and I rushed home and had some ice cream and did it, right? Or I'll eat my favorite cereal, or I'll go through the drive-through at a restaurant that I've been like missing for years and eat all those things that I was restricting, and then I would throw them all up. And then I would go to the gym. So it was just like, let's abuse my heart. Let's abuse my body. Let's abuse my mind. And this sick cycle, you guys, I became obsessed with. And somehow I graduated with a 4.0. Somehow I went off and became a substitute teacher, and I got a full-time job, and it all continued over and over and over again as I started getting more compliments being a trainer. Lindsay, you look so good. Lindsay, what is going on? How do you get those muscles? What's your workout routine? What's your eating routine? And here I was as a professional in wine and spirits industry and in a health club here in town, giving people advice, but not taking my own. I was still on that sick cycle, that sick path, and nobody knew it but me. So imagine keeping a secret like that for years and years and years. Eventually, my parents did hear it sometimes, because I was over at their house and I went in the bathroom. Sometimes Matt heard it. He didn't know how to talk to me about it, and I totally don't, blame him for anything. But it was pretty sad, and it was sad because that person that I was before I had my children was very low on her self-esteem. I didn't care about myself. I didn't believe in myself. I just thought that if I looked good and I wore the cute clothes and I had a social life, that I could go and somebody would like me. Somebody would fall in love with me. I started chasing guys. I showed up at bars at last call to hook up with guys. What? This girl that went from a Catholic school to college to a completely head case when it came to health and fitness, soon to become a trainer, and then eventually I would become a mom. This is the story that I was writing myself. And the more and more that I got into it, and the more people complimented me, the harder it was to break away from those unhealthy habits. How many times have you guys gotten to a point in your life where so many good things keep coming to you, but you have destructive behaviors, but you continue those behaviors thinking that all the good things are going to stop if you change, okay? And that's where I think I can really have the hook to relate to people on that change that needs to happen that's so uncomfortable. And thank God, I always get a little teary-eyed about it. My body fat when I started dating Matt was probably 10, 11, 12%. My doctor told me I would never get pregnant unless I put on more fat. Now, he didn't know about my eating disorder or anything like that. But Matt and I got married on May 7th, 2011, and 2 weeks later, our birth control method didn't work, and I became pregnant. And I didn't know it till I was about 6 weeks in. I was at the country stampede, and I'm like, something is off. I wasn't wanting to drink. I felt bloated in my stomach, so I started with diuretics because I knew that would drain the water out of me. I took Ambien to sleep because my heart was racing. I was still doing my fat burners. I was still doing the NyQuil. I was doing all those things I beat my body up for 10 years with. And I came home and took a pregnancy test, and there it was. I was pregnant. I was pregnant, and I went to the doctor and I started crying and I said, I killed my baby. I killed the baby in my stomach. Something is not right. This is what I've been doing for years. Can you save the baby? And they said, first of all, let's calm down. Let's go get an ultrasound. And everything was perfect. I had the most amazing pregnancy with my son. And it took me getting pregnant to finally draw the line in the sand and say, grow the hell up. Grow the F up, Lindsay. Put good food in your body. Stop exercising so much. Rest when you're tired. Take naps. Get your sleep. Practice positive, affirmations, because you're going to be a mom. Get your shit together. And lo and behold, I started changing. Little things started changing. When people say pregnancy is one of the biggest blessings on the planet, I am like the first to raise my hand and say, pregnancy pretty much saved my life. It saved my life. And Landon is now 8 years old, okay? After I did have him, I relapsed multiple times. I got into a figure competition where I drained my body fat down once again because I wanted to look good. So all those behaviors started creeping back in. And then I finally said, you know what? What the hell? I am a mom now. I have a 1.5-year-old. I joined a company, started community-based marketing, started believing in myself, started attending seminars, started working on personal growth. And all of that was really the game changer. Reading affirmations, even though I didn't believe one damn thing about it. I'm not strong, smart, beautiful, confident, none of those things then, okay? I kind of had to fake it till I make it, right? I started changing other people's lives. I started hearing other people's stories. Still scared to share my own because what is my story? Like, there is people that I heard on stage when I was with the Body Bye Bye Challenge. I was like, my story's nothing compared to that. I'm too shy to share my story. And I share that with you guys because some of you right now are thinking my story is nothing like that girl's. And I was the girl thinking my story's nothing like his or hers or so-and-so. The first guy I helped lose weight was no longer a diabetic. He lost 40 pounds in 90 days. I cried the whole time on the interstate thinking, holy crap. Like, not only do I have an opportunity to change my own life, but now I'm going out and helping thousands and thousands of people all over the world. And there is no capacity on the limit of what I can stretch my reach to. It was incredible. It's uplifting when you find the thing that you love and you do it every day. That saved me too. So now I have a baby. I'm doing what I love. I suffer 3 miscarriages, which was absolutely horrible, but without that sort of belief in myself and my connection to God and my spirit, I got through that. And I had my daughter, Jordan. And all of those unhealthy behaviors that happened for 10 years that created a part of my transformation story turned out to be some of the biggest blessings and learning lessons because now I can go share it with you. And I can relate to people who have food addictions. I can relate to people who don't feel good about themselves. I can relate to people who become moms and feel like they have to do it all because I have been in every single one of those positions. I've never weighed 500 pounds and had to lose 300 of it. I've never starved myself. Nope, it was a different eating disorder. But I do know that all of those are related to how you feel about yourself. It all comes down to self-love. That's why I started this group. Because so many of you guys are going through the motions. You're being the mom, you're going to the practices, you're meal prepping, you're cooking, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're getting your exercise in. What the hell are you doing for yourself? You're doing all of those things because that's what you're supposed to do, being a busy mom or a busy friend or a busy, leader of your company. But at the same time, how are you taking care of yourself? How much do you believe in yourself? Because it's only going to last so long before you start backpedaling into old behaviors that many of you guys have gotten away from. Okay? So that was my thought today. Here I am today, and I still go to the grocery store. I still look at some of those foods that I binged on and threw up. I still go to fast food restaurants. Definitely would not eat any of the fast food because that is right there a trigger. I mean, I spent $20 in, lines getting large fries, 2 chicken sandwiches, full pizzas. You guys, you see a girl eat. But I got rid of it all. And I felt that, oh my God, I did something. I was in control. And so many of us are just looking for control. We're looking for consistency and we're trying to figure out our path. And it's okay if you're anywhere in the part of the story that I talked about for myself on my self-belief level, going here to here to here, back to here. Oh, I'm going up here. Today I'm up here. There is no one in the world that's going to stop me, I'm convinced, except myself. Like there is nothing somebody could say to me that is going to derail my path to going and doing what I meant to do. But you guys, I'm 39 years old, and this whole story started when I was 19. So holy shit, 20 years ago, okay? Think about that. 20 years of a transformation. Are you going to allow yourself to go 20 years of a transformation? Are you going to give yourself that time? Because you have that time. But every day you have to go and you have to work on becoming just a little bit better version of yourself. You have to do that. And I believe you can. But I can't motivate you. Tishka cannot motivate you. Karen is not your motivator. She can provide external motivation, but what are you going to find on the inside to get your ass in gear? Okay? That's what it's all about. Your story matters. And some of you guys are going, I just don't think it does. There's really nothing cool. Bull crap. You guys, share, speak. People are attracted to that vulnerability, knowing you're not perfect, because some people see you as perfect. They saw me for perfect for years, but that was my roughest time. That was the time that I sucked the most. I didn't believe in myself. I don't want to go back to that perfect body the way I felt then, okay? I'd rather have, the roll of skin when I sit. I'd rather have the aging skin and the wrinkles starting to come in. I'd rather have all this. This is aging. I love aging. I love it now because I'm so much smarter and I'm at a healthier place than I was when I was in my teenage years through my 20s. Having kids through my 30s, raising kids into my 40s, which is going to happen very soon. I'm going to have teenagers coming soon. Landon's going to be 9. Jordan's going to be 5 next year. My kids are growing up and they need a role model. They need a parent. If you're not a mom, guess what? You may be one day, or you're somebody that somebody looks up to as a mom or a role model or an aunt, right? What can you do right now to become a better version of yourself? And one way and one thing to do is to share your story. And that's my story. I have lows. I have highs. You guys just saw my kitchen. It's a freaking mess. But it's okay because today I'm doing things for myself and I'm doing things for other people and I'm building a business of thousands of people all over the world. And I'm helping people. I'm sharing my ideas. I'm sharing my talents. I don't have a ton of the money to share right now, but when I do, you better believe I'm sharing my treasures too, because that's what matters. Contribution, being grateful, being positive, right? Being that uplifting person in somebody's day, not the Debbie Downer. We all can work on better, and it's not just about fitness. It's not just about the way you look. Ever. Don't ever let somebody tell you that or make you believe that. Don't let this group make you think that because we're getting our workouts in. That's awesome. That's just one part of your day. That's like a very small part of your day. That's 30 minutes to an hour. You have 24 hours in a day. What are you going to go do with it? So that's it from me today, you guys. Share your story is the whole premise of it. Hopefully you got a little bit into mine. If you guys have any questions or want to talk to me on a personal level, I'm happy to get on a phone call with you, especially if you're struggling with lots of your eating habits. Many people are like, God, I don't think I could talk to Lindsay about eating because she's perfect. Hell no, I'm not. Oh my God, I'm still figuring it out. I have to figure out if I'm going to go continue vegan for the next few years, but I don't know. I have 10 days to decide. Have a great day, you guys. I love you and I appreciate you. If you guys like this story, drop a heart in the comment. I love you. Have a great day. Bye.